Listen, I made my first $1 million online using one thing, a self-published book. My first book, Fit Over 40, released last year when I turned 40. No, I'm kidding. It was released like 89 years ago. It was released some time ago. How's that? Went on to be a bestseller on ClickBank. Then I wrote The Every Other Day Diet, and that smoked Fit Over 40, selling almost 1,000 copies in a day at times. Now, 6 more books later, and let me tell you, I know a thing or two about writing and publishing a book and making it sell. And I'm here to tell you my 5 steps to getting your first self-published book to a bestseller. I'm John Benson, and this is Sales Copy Secrets. Before we begin, can you write a book? Hell yeah, you can write a book. In fact, in just a few weeks from the time of recording this video, I will be releasing Book Builder as an add-on to BNSN.AI. You can check that out in the description below and get BNSN.AI. And then when Book Builder comes out, you can add that too. And when it comes out, I'll add a link to that because that will help you self-write a self-help book or a how-to book and do it like a human being and do it in hours rather than months. But even without Book Builder, can you write a book? Hell yes. And here's why. You may not believe that you can. You may not have the confidence that you can. I need to get this through. You do not need to be an expert to write a book. You need to be an enthusiast. Most people think they need degrees or consonants behind their name to write a book. That's nonsense. You do need success in that area for sure. You need to be enthusiastic and knowledgeable about a topic. In fact, I'd say that you need to be downright passionate about the topic that you're wanting to write about. That's fair, right? But expert? No. Say you don't know everything. I do and did. I said I don't know it all. I have 0 formal training in marketing, none, and yet I'm one of the top marketers around, and more specifically, one of the top copywriters around, and my proof is in over $1 billion of copywriting sales earned. Okay, I got the proof, but I don't need to have that much of a proof or even be that much of an expert to write a book on the topic. I need to be very good and enthusiastic. When I wrote Fit Over 40 and Every Other Day Diet, I didn't have any training in fitness formally or a nutrition degree. I later went back and took my CCN, but that wouldn't have changed a word of what I wrote. But I had real world experience from going from obese and very sick to fit, and a way of telling that story that made it relatable to others. And that's all you need. Hell, confess right out of the gate that you're not a quote unquote expert, because guess what? You probably don't want to be. Most people don't like to listen to PhD experts because they suck at communication. And a lot of people that are experts suck at what they're good at. Okay? Do this because you love helping people. Let that come across. Do this because you have passion about it, and it can work. And here's how you do it. Step number 1, streamline your outline. Now, this is much of a psychological tip as it is a planning tip, but I promise you, it's the number one reason people fail, number one reason why people fail when it comes to authoring their own book, because they drag it out. They research online, they go researching this, so they have to take this course, they have to take that course. Ends up months, even years with no outline or nothing to show for their efforts. So let me break it to you like this. I spent 8 months writing Fit Over 40. I spent 8 days writing The Every Other Day Diet, and that book outsold Fit Over 40 by 5-1. Now, there were reasons other than the speed of the writing, but here's my point. You do not need perfection. You need a freaking product, okay? Many books are under 40 pages long. You don't need to write War and Peace. You don't need a 300-word book that doubles as a weapon that you can kill somebody over the head with. Don't want to do that. Don't want to hurt anyone anyway. You need to deliver the goods to your reader fast. And one of my best books, one of the most well-received, guess what? It was super short, under 40 pages. Now, listen, you may not be able to write a book in a week like I did. And by the way, that book was 120 pages long. I typed pretty quick. But 7-Minute Muscle, the book I'm talking about, was only 40-something pages long, and I wrote that in about 5-6 days. Now, you're not Tim Ferriss. Tim Ferriss is a fantastic writer. He's a friend. He researches a book forever. You just need to convey what you're talking about in a straight and entertaining way. Just get straight, get to the point, say what you mean. Don't write for the sake of words, and include personal anecdotes here personal stories here and there. Give folks a little bit of a peek into your life, even your failures. That's juicy, man. Make it funny, make it even emotional at times, but just make something that's short to the point, interesting to read, and captivates people on an emotional and intellectual level. No one has ever asked for a refund, for example, of 7-Minute Muscle because it wasn't 200 pages long. I streamlined the outline. I stripped it down to chunks. Now, here's what I like to do right now. I like chunks of 5. Think of the 5 key points that you want to cover. Then include no more than 3 points under each point. I want you to have a look on the screen and you'll see what I'm talking about. Start with an introduction that covers what you'll learn and why that's important. Then go right into your key point number 1, an overview of the point, and 3 teaching tips or sections of that key point, 1, 2, and 3. Then go to key point number 2, overview, teaching tips, 1, 2, and 3. That's it. Very, very straightforward. It's not difficult. It's very mundane, as a matter of fact, but that's all you need. Don't overcomplicate things. Keep it simple. Step number 2, Kanban your time blocks. Now, you don't need a literal Kanban board. I had one for years. They are cool. Just Google it after this video. Watch this video first. But you need to understand the process and the Kanban mentality. And what this does is it chunks things out. So basically, I want to chunk that book that I just outlined into 30-minute sprints. I don't want to write for an hour at a time, only write for 30 minutes, and I'm only going to write one key point at a time. So one of those key points for 30 minutes, no distractions, no internet, no nothing, just write, undisturbed. You can probably finish a section in 1 to 2 sessions. Do this every day and you can write a book in a couple of weeks, spending only 30 minutes a shot. Now, you'll want to edit the book, but that can come as hired work from Upwork. And I'll talk about editing here in a moment. Now, if you work in sprints, your mind will be able to focus more on just that one idea under just that one key point. It'll be more laser focused, and that's critical. You don't want to write more than that. Just let it flow. And speaking of flow, and speaking of editing, step number 3, get into a state of flow. Now, there are all kinds of tricks that people use to get into a flow state, and that's a state where you're writing almost on autopilot, as if you're channeling, as if you're taking dictation from God. It's pretty cool. The best I've found to get in flow is to follow step 2. If you're only looking at one part of one key point and that's all, you're going to tend to get into flow state a lot easier. But there's another trick I've learned. It's going to sound really weird when I tell it to you. And that is I take dictation for myself. I'm not psychotic. Here's what I mean. I'm hearing words right now as I'm writing this script in my head, and I'm hearing an amplified version in my head that gives me a belief in my mind that I'm taking dictation, only it's kind of from me, my higher self, if you will. And the ideas tend to flow more effortlessly and freely. And one of the major flow disruptors is when you try to edit during this process. Don't edit a word. Write undisturbed. Don't check your spelling. Don't edit jack. Stay in flow, edit last. You can edit each section as you go if you like, and I actually like to do that. So I'll complete a section totally, and then I'll take a break, and then I'll come back and edit it. And since I'm my own editor for most cases, I'll take the next block of time out and I'll go, leave creative mode, leave flow mode, and go into analytical mode. So that way I have an edited version in my head of that section. And when I edit, I'll always catch something I missed or something I want to elaborate on, and that helps me flow for the next session. So I actually like that process. Creative, edit, creative, edit. You can do it the other way around. You can go all creative if you want to. But more and more flow tip is to record rather than write. It's a little harder to take dictation from your own head if you do that. But a lot of people find recording a lot easier because they're not limited by typing speed and spelling and getting messed up on the keyboard. So just try to think your ideas, then get them transcribed, then edit them. That's going to help you with flow. Step number 4. Polishing the final product. Now, like I said, I do self-edit, but I will send my final script out to a professional editor with instructions like never edit my style of writing, only for punctuation. I'll find a decent designer in Upwork, and then I'll have that editor send the final version to that designer before I ever look at the final proof. That way I'm looking at a real book, which is kind of cool. I like to have control over the final design because I used to be a designer, so I'll ask for it in the application, like pages or whatever. Then I can edit how I want the book to even look. Now, you don't have to do all that. You can change all the stuff that you want to change verbally or with instructions to a designer, but this is a cool tip if you do have that skill. And all of this is in total vain if you don't do the final step. 5, the book funnel. How the hell are you going to sell it? Now, this video is way too short to go into how to create a book funnel. Benson.AI, look below, has tools to help you create landing pages and opt-in pages and all that stuff, the copy you need for the funnel. Or now you could also use ClickFunnels and a similar page builder for the pages themselves, but you will need copy. Benson's awesome for that. But your number one challenge is going to be traffic to your book. Sure, you can buy traffic on Facebook, but you better have a damn good opt-in and sales page funnel to pull it off. Otherwise, you'll lose money. Now, we teach people how to do all of this in the pro version of Book Builder. That's called Book Builder Marketing Studio. See below for a link for that application. Myself and Derek, professional book coach and multiple book-selling author, teaches folks like you how to market their final product as well as write it inside Book Builder. Now, the short version is this. You need a sales page that immediately delivers the unique benefits of your book to your potential buyer. All they care about is that you have a solution to their problem, and if it sounds unique enough to give it a listen, you got it. That's where great sales copy becomes an absolute must-have. Now, from there, you can publish your book on ClickBank. I've used that for years. It's a go-to for a lot of book publishers, and it serves as a merchant as well, so people can buy your book, pay you, join your list, and you can hire someone at Upwork to help you put that together. You can hire somebody at Upwork to help you format your book, and you can hire somebody at Upwork to help format your book for Amazon. But putting your book on Amazon is like tossing a penny on the freeway and then telling people to go find it. It's not going to be easy to do. Without using direct traffic sources like Facebook or other social media, you'll just make sales here and there, but it's a good idea to have it on Amazon just to have it. Now, if you put all those sources together with one more idea I'm going to cover here last, you can start to generate steady sales. And that last source is, guess what? YouTube. You're right here, right now, watching me right now, and I have your attention, don't I? You can do the same thing. In fact, you can actually review your own book on your YouTube channel. Just start a channel dedicated to the topic, read a little bit of your book here and there for your video content. Then you can elaborate on it and openly talk about it, get people engaged, get people commenting, and you'll start slowly making sales. And if you're following the rest of the teaching in our Book Builder Marketing Studio, or if you've just managed to put together a solid opt-in and sales page, you're going to start seeing results. And from there, it's consistency. Keep pushing using social media, paid traffic, everything you can do to get blogs, interviews, everything you do. A lot of the stuff we teach you in Book Builder Marketing Studio. Put all that together and you could have your very first bestseller in a matter of months. I hope this helps. Now get to it.